So slope. We did x and y intercepts. Now we're going to do slope. We're going to review x and y intercepts just a little bit. Okay, so what we need to know about slope. You already know a lot about slope. You know slope is, what letter do we use for slope? M. And it's rise over. It is some people call it change of x. Change of y over change in x. Of course, a lot of times in science and math you don't write words, and so you sometimes see it like this. And that little thing right there, that delta, means this. Change of. Okay, another way to write change of is this. y2 minus y1. This is how to write that. Equals x2 minus x1. Okay? And I'm not going to make you memorize a whole bunch of formulas throughout the year. I am going to make you memorize almost every form and formula in this chapter, because you're going to use it a lot in high school. Even if you never take a math class after high school, you are going to use it in every single math class. Okay? What I can tell you is next year, all the stuff that we're going through right now, what we're going to cover in 2 different chapters, you're going to have to do in 2 days in geometry. Okay, so you have to learn it and master it this year. Have you done this before? In pre-algebra? Yes. Okay, we're going to do it again just like you haven't done it in pre-algebra, but you've done it. This is the last year that we get to spend time on it. Next year in algebra, and also in algebra 2. You just have to know it. You just have to know how to do it. The teacher's going to go, here's the formula. We need to know it. We're going to move on. Okay. Of course, this class is spread out. Your geometry class is just 1 semester. So you're taking a chapter test every week and a half. Okay. So you got to be ready and you got to keep up. So we're going to spend our time this year doing this. That's why we do the project during this year, so we can take it slow, so you can have plenty of time to understand things before we move on, so we get it in your brain mastered. Not just, I kind of can do it, I want it mastered. It's not hard. Okay, we're just doing slope today. Okay, and I'm going to show you, and this is kind of hard to do. I need the paper that shows up on the camera. This is hard to do at your seat, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, like I was saying, away from the camera, this is hard to do at your seat, but I'm going to show you how it's done, just so it's on the video, and then you can, I'll probably show you how it's done again on the, I'm missing my protractor, probably because I gave it away. But that's not the point. All right, I'll use this. I'm going to draw my little things here. And I think I'm getting ahead of myself because I forgot one important thing is just the way to eyeball slope and the way to just check and see if your slope makes sense. And so I have a little story about a guy, and I call this guy Steve. And I'm not copying it from Minecraft. He was always called Steve way before Minecraft was even invented. Steve likes snow, and he has a little sled here. Okay, and he likes to have fun. And so he's going to go, and he's going to go to this mountain, and he's going to go up. Okay, is it fun going up the mountain? No. Not in a sled. So it's fun to go down, right? The slope, when you go up the mountain, is going to be positive. It means you're gaining height, gaining slope. When you go down the mountain, it's going to be a negative slope. That means you're losing altitude, right? And then after that, it's going to be flat. That actually has a little bit of slope to it. It shouldn't have any flat. And if it's a flat slope, it's boring. So boring, it's like nothing. Okay? But he's doing all this work. He had a little fun here. He's doing all this work to get to the ultimate fun, which is the drop off at the edge of the earth, right? At the edge of the earth, he's going to get here and he's just going to, this is the most fun you can have, right? It's so much fun we can't even define it. Okay? And, you know, Steve is smart. He's not afraid of heights. He's afraid of the ground, right? Because you've never been hurt by heights, right? You only get hurt by the ground. So, fortunately for him, this is math, and undefined means it goes on and on forever, and he'll never hit the ground, and he'll be having fun forever. In real life, you'll hit the ground, and the fun stops when you hit the ground. Although I guess we could put a little parachute on the back of Steve. You know, just put a little parachute, and that way, this one's a little one. That way, when Steve goes off this, if there is the ground, his parachute will open, and then it will reduce his fun a little bit, but it will prevent him from having a negative, bad allergic reaction to the ground. Right? Is that considered an allergy? I think so. That's an allergy. You have negative effects when you're exposed to the ground. Yeah. So he's allergic to the ground a little bit, but that's okay. So every time we see a graph, we can always check it. Positive slope, it's going up. Negative slope, going down. Flat slope, 0. Straight up and down, undefined. Steve always goes from left to right in this country because we read from left to right. Yes? Do we read from left to right in every country? Some countries you read up and down, right? Some countries you read right to left. Okay? It's usually different languages. I think in Japan they read left to right and up and down. So, you know, just because we do it some way doesn't mean everybody does it some way. It doesn't mean our way is better. But we do need to acknowledge that we're doing American-style mathematics and European-style mathematics, and so that form of mathematics goes from left to right, and that's how we read things. Okay, now we're going to get to this. I'm going to draw a little graph here. Very exciting graph. You know, a happy little graph, right? Who's that guy that has happy little trees? Bob Ross. So this is going to be a Bob Ross kind of graph, right? Happy little accidents. So speaking of happy little accidents, this looks pretty steep to me. It'd be fun until it flattens out and you need to stop. So what? First of all, I need to establish what kind of slope this is going to be. Is it going to be negative, positive, 0, undefined? Little Steve is going to do what? Okay. Now he's writing. It's not how you're supposed to write it, but that's okay. That's dangerous. Okay. So it's negative, right? Okay, now I'm going to do rise over run. And to do rise over run, I'm just going to connect these dots like this to make a triangle. And you should remember that makes a right triangle, right? So now I'm going to count. This is going to be 1, 2. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, rise over run. Which one's the rise value? 6. And this is the run value, right? Because rise goes up and down, run goes left and right. Okay, I can't leave it like that. This bugs me. What should I do to it? Divide it by 2 or just simplify the fraction, right? So this is going to end up being negative 3. That's how you do it with a graph, right? Okay. Don't get all crazy with your triangle. But hey, what if you want to be different and don't want to do what I do and you do your triangle like this? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Are you still going to get 6 over here and 2 over here? Yeah. Just remember, your rise is on top, your x is on bottom. A lot of people try to put the x's on top because x comes first. But just think, rise over run. That's why your teachers in the past have gone rise over run. All right, we're going to do that. The next thing we're going to do and the last thing we're going to do today is just go over how to use this formula right here. I'm going to give you 2 points. You're going to tell me the slope. Here's 2 points. 4, 6. 2, 7. You can't see it, but you can imagine what it would be like if you could. I want to keep the, there we go. I got the thing, I got the right here. So, just to remember, this is going to be x1. This is going to be y1. This is going to be x2. This is going to be y2. All I have to do is substitute this stuff in here. Okay. So, this says y2 first. 7. Minus y1. x2 minus x1. That's not right. What should it be? 4? Okay. That's right. Okay. And I like to color things, and so I'm going to color things. So this is x1. This is x2. This is what's important. Okay? Yeah, unfortunately, on high def, it probably works. On this, it doesn't. So make sure your y's are on top. Make sure your x is on bottom. Another thing to check on is make sure that these are these two from the same point. 7 and 2, 7 and 2, right? That is how to check it. You don't actually have to do anything to check it. Just make sure you check it. Okay. Now I'm going to do the math. 7 minus 6 is? I don't even need a calculator for that, I hope. 2 minus 4 is? Negative 2. Because the negatives win by 2. That's ugly. Don't leave it like that. Change it to this. Okay? Right. We need to do something, maybe mix it up a little bit. Let's try this. 4 minus 5 equals 6 minus 2. Let's see what we get now. Set it up. Y2. You can't see this, but you can imagine what it'd be like if you did. Y2 minus 6. X2 minus 4. What did I do wrong? Okay. These are common mistakes I see. Let's do it again. Minus 2 minus what? Minus a negative 5. Okay. Make sure these are both y's, and both y's would be from a different point. So if this helps you, make sure you do this. These are from a different point. Okay. Both y's. Okay. 6 minus 4. I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. This is ugly. What can you do to this? Can I change it to a... One of the things taught in like 7th and 8th grade is the smiley method. Have you ever seen the smiley method? No. 2 negatives, we should just make them happy. Seen that before? No. Okay. Well, so this is a happy little problem now. Basically, this is the keep, change, change. Okay, so that's the smiley method. But basically, it changes into negative 2 plus 5, which is I can't believe you've never seen the smiley face method. That was my favorite method when I was teaching 7th grade for a year. You know, if two people are angry, you just make them smile and then it fixes everything. Well, in the math world, it does. I wish it worked that way in the real world. Do I need to do anything with this fraction? Is it simple? Is that my answer? Okay. Let's try this one. -6, comma, 5. And yeah, you can see it this time. We'll call this -2, comma, 5. Let's see what we get. Okay, so this is the number 2 problem I see every year where they basically, instead of doing the y's, they take one of these and subtract the other from the point. This is the number 1 thing I see that people do wrong. I see them do this. What did I do wrong? But shouldn't I put the first thing on top and the second thing on bottom? So this is kind of backwards how we normally do things, right? So this is the number 1 thing I see people do wrong. They do all their slopes upside down because they want to put x's on top, y's on bottom. Okay, so don't do that. I think I did everything else right, but it should be 5 minus 5, and it should be -6 minus -2. I didn't mean to make that comma. That is an accident. Okay, if you don't like the smiley method, you can also do the giant plus method. There we go. Okay, and so what's this going to be? 5 minus 5 is? -6 plus 2 is? -4? What's that going to equal? That's a boring problem. Okay. If you were skiing, what do you call that kind of skiing when you have 0 slope? That's like cross-country skiing, right? Or they just, never mind. Never mind. All right. All right, I got another problem for you. Okay. Let's make that 2. Let's make this 17. Let's make it. That's going to make it harder, right? If I make a bigger number, it makes it harder. Let's make this 2. Let's make this -3. All right, let's see if I can do this right. -3 minus 17 over 2 minus 2. Did I do it right? This is going to be -20. What's this going to be on the bottom? It's not 0? How come? So this is undefined? If you put it in your calculator, what's it going to say? I think it's going to, most of them say divide by 0 error, right? Okay, I'm going to explain this real quick, and then I'm going to let you do your work. Okay, so I'm going to work at a restaurant, very successfully work at a restaurant, so I'm going to have 3 plates here. We're just going to drop, this one's going to be ugly. I have 3 plates. Okay, so I'm going to do this right here. So I have 0 food and 3 plates, right? Can I put 0 food on 3 different plates in equal amounts? I can. You get an empty plate, and you get an empty plate, and you get an empty plate. I can do that. I'm probably not going to stay in business as a restaurant, but I can serve people empty plates with nothing on it. But what if I have, what's the food of choice right now? What's the best food in the world? Say it. Chinese? Okay, there's some disagreements. So I'm going to go with chicken. Fried chicken. So you have 12 pieces of delicious chicken strips with sauce. Okay, and you have 0 plates. So you got 12 pieces of food, 0 plates. Can I put 12 pieces of chicken? Nowhere. I got to put them somewhere in real life, right? Can I put them nowhere? I have to have some place to put them, right? I can't just levitate them and just, I take them out of the fryer. I have to put them someplace. So if I don't have any plates or any place to put them, I can't do that in real life. So that's why it's undefined. Okay? So that's why this is 0, is because you can put nothing in places. I do that all the time. If I don't have stuff, I can put nothing there. Okay? But if I have a bunch of stuff, I have to have some place to keep it. Do what?
What is a mark for undefined? It's like a U with a line through it?
It's been so long since I've seen it. I'll look it up. They don't use it anymore. Is kind of why. Now we write undefined. Sometimes they do divide by 0 error, stuff like that. There is something that looks like this that you'll learn later on that is empty set, which means there are no answers that fit that particular set. But for our purposes here, we're going to write undefined until we start working with set theory. And I think you do a little bit of this in Algebra 2, but I basically don't want to step on their toes with that. But I believe that's what you're talking about. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to turn this off. So hopefully people at home will get it. I can't believe you didn't say pizza and I had to say chicken, because I want some chicken strips and some dipping sauce.